Fool Me Once, Shame on You, Fool Me Twice is the 14th episode of the second season of Frasier. This is directed by Philip Charles MacKenzie, and this one has a really important message about protecting your stuff from theft. And it also addresses the concept of identity theft. And there will be spoilers from this point on as I discuss the specific things that happen in this episode. I have to say, it's probably not one of the funniest episodes, but I still really enjoyed it. And I have to say, the beginning I loved because it really felt so relatable. In the first scene, the first thing we see is Niles holding the door for somebody in Cafe Nervosa, and the woman just walks through without even acknowledging his existence, and he very loudly says "you're welcome" afterwards. And this is something that I do. I try not to do it, but it's an instinct. If somebody doesn't say thank you, or even just look me in the eye and acknowledge my existence, if I hold the door for them, on instinct, I say "you're welcome" in response, obviously being sarcastic, and it was so relatable. And this crops up a few times throughout the episode where Niles gets really riled in Cafe Nervosa, and it was just so relatable, and I absolutely loved it. We also have a great moment in the beginning between Roz and Niles where Frasier basically forces them to have a conversation, and I love Roz, but I have to admit, Niles's frequent cheap shots were quite amusing. Most of the comedy in this episode, I think, does come from Niles. As I said, it's maybe not the most laugh out loud funny episode, but that's not to say I didn't enjoy it. The main narrative is focusing on the fact that while at Cafe Nervosa, somebody steals Frasier's briefcase. And obviously, Frasier has his wallet and everything else in his briefcase, so this is a pretty big deal. And there's this really great scene where he's on the phone and Eddie is just staring at him, and it's adorable. We don't get too much of Eddie in this, but that moment I thought was particularly cute. And Frasier is trying to find out what has happened. Of course, he puts an appeal out on his radio show to talk about this, and I think the episode does a really great job of raising awareness for theft. Not that theft needs more awareness, but of course it can make people slightly more conscious about where they leave their bag or their briefcase when they're in a coffee shop. And also on how to not fall victim to other scams, because somebody phones in and says, "I have your briefcase, I've found it, let's meet." And I'll be honest, I didn't see the danger. And that makes me feel kind of bad because neither did Frasier. But Niles points out at the last minute, when it's a bit too late, that Frasier has agreed to drive to Cafe Nervosa and meet the person who has his car keys. And of course, when Niles declares this and Frasier realizes that he's been set up, it's too late. The guy's driven off with his car, and Martin certainly has great fun with this. But again, it's a serious thing, and if it helps people to realize that this is not a situation to be in, then that's only a good thing. And then they take it one step further. They decide to steal Frasier's identity, and we learn this because Denise, a woman called Denise, who had apparently slept with Frasier, phones him to discuss their meeting time. And obviously we learn there that the person who stole his briefcase and his car has also now stolen his identity. And then Frasier finds a way to meet this person. And I didn't know what this person would look like, and I didn't know what to expect from them. And the way that scene played out, I thought was pretty unpredictable. We do have Frasier applying some psychology to why this guy was behaving this way, and I thought it was really fascinating and really thought-provoking. And then, again, right at the last minute, just when it seems like things were going well, Frasier gets arrested. And there we end the episode. Well, almost. We do have the final scene in Cafe Nervosa, with Niles having his watch stolen. Another opportunity to show a different kind of theft, and it definitely makes Cafe Nervosa seem like not a safe place to be, which is not the vibe I get from that location in an average episode. It's a good episode. It's raising a lot of awareness for different kinds of theft and identity theft, and I think it could be a really beneficial episode as well. As I said, it isn't the most funny. Niles, for me, brought the most comedy, but I still liked it. It's still a good episode. It's never going to be a personal favourite, but I think I'll always be happy to watch it.